Week 6 of the fantasy football season. Here's a few kickers I have as sleepers this week. The first kicker, Blake Rube of the New Orleans Saints. And now we're in their quarterback, we're going to see, I believe, less touchdowns for this New Orleans Saints team. Spencer Ratler comes out there, and he really takes the league by storm, and he's one of the better backup quarterbacks in the league. So he grew up out there in 91% of fantasy leagues. We know he's got a big boot, 50-plus yards. He could kick that football. And this week, an indoor ball game as well, home for New Orleans. So anytime, obviously, a game's indoors, it's going to favor kickers and it's going to favor offenses, in my opinion. So this week in a matchup versus Tampa, where they know they got to put points on the board, and they might trot him out there for a couple 50-plus yarders. Grupp is a sleeper, available 91% of fantasy leagues. Next sleeper's Cam Little of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was on the sleeper list last week, and he contributed big time with 14 fantasy points in that one versus the Indianapolis Colts. So Cam Little's got a decent boot. This Jaguar offense, I don't think it's totally piss poor. And last week we saw them score 37 points, but this week at Chicago, definitely a tougher matchup in London, where this bad defense, one of the better units in the league. So Cam Little, I think opportunities will be there, where Chicago's a bend but don't break defense in the red zone and holding teams to field goal attempts. And like I said, the last couple weeks, good outings. Week 4, Houston 11, and Week 5 versus Indianapolis 14. So Week 6 at Chicago, it wouldn't be surprising if he did put up double-digit points once again, but I think 7 to 10 points is a good possibility. And the third and final kicker I have as a sleeper this week's Will Lutz of the Denver Broncos. Will Lutz, he's been a good kicker this season. 3 out of 5 games, double-digit fantasy points, and now kicking once again this week at home for this Denver Bronco team, where it's going to be a division matchup of two AFC West teams with the Broncos and the Chargers, where I think it's going to be a grinded-out type of ball game. Will Lutz, like I said, out there in 95% of fantasy leagues, and he's always had a big boot, kicking 50-plus yards pretty easily throughout his NFL career, going back to his New Orleans Saints days. So like I said, this is going to be a low-scoring game, I believe, between two division rivals, and it's going to come down to the kickers at times. So Will Lutz as a good sleeper this week. So that's a few kickers I have as sleepers for Week 6 of the fantasy football season.